AIO for taking the kids at 3 a.m. and leaving my husband. Might be a long one. Be patient with me, please. Me and my husband are both 28 and we've been together for 10 years, married for 5, and share 2 children today, 3M and a 4-month-old baby girl. Since the birth of baby girl, my son has become extremely clingy and scared of sleeping alone, so my husband started sleeping with him with a mattress on the floor. It worked out better since that meant he could be more productive for us all during the day, since he works from home and isn't required to be at his desk all day, which means he can help out a lot more. I was happy with the arrangement. Recently, my son has been waking up at 5 a.m. and my husband has been ignoring him until 8 a.m. when my son usually wakes up. I noticed this because I checked the monitor one night during a night feed for daughter at almost 6 a.m. and saw my boy just rolling around in his cot, and I watched for over an hour. It made sense all of a sudden because my son was feeling hungrier sooner and also was sleepy a lot sooner than usual. My son also had a lot of anxiety about going to bed, which was confusing too, so I went to go get him and asked my husband about this, and he admitted for the last couple weeks this had been happening. I was fuming. How dare he just leave him for that many hours so he could get a little extra sleep? He apologized and we moved on, but I decided to let my son sleep in bed with me for a night to help him feel more comfortable, and he slept his usual 12 hours again, so this became a habit. Meanwhile, husband was still in our son's room getting great sleeps whilst I still am up hourly at night with our colicky, gassy, terrible sleeping 4-month-old who's also going through a sleep regression. To make this worse, when I wake up in the morning, both kids raring to go and I've barely slept, I'll tell my husband on his days off to take them in the morning since he's rested, so I can get a little extra sleep, but let's take a guess what he's been doing. Sleeping extra for himself. I'm dumbfounded. I've had countless conversations with him about this. I've cried and shouted and gone the whole 9 yards, and he says he will change and prioritize my sleep, but the second the opportunity presents itself, he always says he didn't sleep very well because our son's room is cold or some other excuse, and he will sleep till noon instead, leaving me to be alone with the kids. So, I'm barely sleeping, and making breakfast for a toddler who bounces off walls every waking moment, and a colicky 4-month-old. I told him last night I was going to lose my mind from not sleeping and him waking at noon to help raise our kids. I expressed it all. He cried and promised to do better. We went to bed, and my hell began. The baby didn't want to sleep for 3 hours straight. She was fussing, and it was starting to wake my toddler, who's usually out cold and hears nothing when he sleeps. I ran to where my husband was to wake him so he could help toddler, and he got annoyed and irritated that I was disturbing his sleep. He asked why I couldn't handle it, and once he came, he got annoyed after 20 minutes of our toddler not going back to sleep. Something in me switched, and I decided to get help where I knew I would find it, my parents' house. I packed up both kids and a few outfits and drove to them at 3 a.m. My angel mother swooped both kids out my arms and forced me to go to sleep whilst she got the toddler to bed and managed to settle the baby too. This was the best sleep I've had. Now apparently I was completely out of line for this, according to my husband. Did I overreact?